Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do the best knife of 2022 in the Slipjoint category. So I'm doing these separately because, I don't know, it makes my life easier, I guess. Now, some of you are probably you're gonna get a little whatever about it because 99.9% of these are Jack Wolf knives. And the reason for that is I have all the Jack Wolf knives, and I love the Jack Wolf knives. There's many reasons for it, namely the knives are awesome. I also really love the matching slips that I've been getting with them from Troy over at Northwoods Leatherworks, and it kind of just is this combination that I really love. I also really like the guy behind Jack Wolf Knives, Ben. I don't just keep knives and love knives because I like people. I might keep a knife, for a while. I'll buy a knife for sure to support somebody I like. 100%. I will spend my money to support somebody and then maybe not keep the knife or whatever. But I genuinely love all of the Jack Wolf knives. Troy from Northwoods, the guy who makes the slips that I really like for these. You can get slips made by anyone. Is an amazing dude as well, and I would call him and Ben friends at this point. And yeah, sure, that adds a layer to it. But genuinely, the product here is fantastic, and that's, I promote things for sure. Probably somebody on Reddit the other day called me a what did he call me? A pitch. God damn it. I forget the name. It was something pitch. And pitchman. He called me a pitchman. Or pitchman, whatever you want to call it. And it cracked me up. Because, I mean, it's true. I get excited about stuff. And then I promote it. And I pitch it, so to speak. I don't really try to get people to buy stuff. I mean, certainly I show links and stuff like that. So it helps the channel. I'm not going to hide from that. But I don't promote things I don't think are awesome is kind of where I want to draw the line there. I don't promote things just to promote them because I have a link, a code, or whatever, right? And a lot of times, guys, the links or the codes, they don't do anything for me. I don't get anything for a lot of them. There's definitely some where they're affiliate links and I get a small percentage or whatever. But I just genuinely love the product, and then I can promote it. And I rest easy with that. I sleep at night with that because I spend my money on this stuff. Like, I don't just get everything for free. You know what I mean? I do get free stuff. That's 100% for sure, but I always tell you when that happens. If I get something in for free, I tell you, and then you make your decision to believe me or not, Anyway, this video is not really about that, but Ben does send me a Jack Wolf knife every month when they release. At least that's what he's been doing. I can't say he'll keep doing that or whatever, but I have legitimately bought at least one of every model, I think. There might be one, the Cyborg, I think. I did not buy another one. And mostly it's because I want to get the version I want, but I've also bought multiples, like the Venom. He sent me a micarta one. I actually ended up buying 2 Mars Valley ones. And then I ended up selling one of those. But, I don't know. I just really like them, and, yeah. So, first, I want to get into... actually, let's go through the Jack Wolf lineup, and we can run through from the first month, which was, I believe, April. So in April, and you'll see the combination of the Northwood slip with each, model. And this should be fun. I haven't shown these all in a while. So this is the Sharpshooter Jack. I have this in a, I forget the name of it. It's like Ortesia Pueblo leather, and then black stitching, and you can tell it's a Troy slip by, it's usually like 3 or 4 factors that I can tell. I mean, I just know at this point, but you get obviously the Northwoods logo. You get his 7 cross stitch signature for good luck. And then you get a real nice, tight, thin fit. And then you also get the kind of cutoff here where it's not fully covered, which some people want their knife fully covered. And I get that. Then he's just not your guy. Or maybe you got to ask him to do something different. But anyway, that's the slip for it. And then this is the Sharpshooter Jack. This is the gun stock pattern, and this is the first Jack Wolf that released. And I think Ben was smart dropping this one first. Has excellent walk and talk, and it really just set the stage for what was to come in 2022 from Jack Wolf Knives, which was just fireball after fireball that he was sending down. So this is going to be a lot of positive stuff, guys. So if you're not into positive videos, you might not want to watch this. So these are all M390. They're all titanium integrated bolsters, and then they all have fat carbon scales. So I'll make that easy for you. Actually, some have camo carbon, but this one has the dark matter blue fat carbon. It also came in natural, black, and green canvas micarta. And it has this beautiful clip point blade, and it is the Sharpshooter Jack. You get that crisp walk and talk that just basically, this knife right here just locked everybody in on Jack Wolf knives. I mean, it just pops. The way these jump is insane. The springs are just, I mean, look at this. Pop. And then you have the full hollow grind up to the spine, and it's just stupid thin. I mean, I've measured these at 10,000, sub 10,000s. It's crazy. Now, clip points are not my favorite, but I've grown to like them more and more, especially since I've gotten a label printer and not had to worry about cutting shipping labels all the time. So now I can just carry a knife and use it however I need to. But clip points still aren't the best for penetrating like a bag or something package, but it works, right? But this knife, I really did not think that it was going to be comfortable in the hand. But it literally melts in your hand. And this is going to be a theme here, but you can see how it cuts right here, gets thicker back here. And it's called a gun stock because it kind of looks like, well, a gun stock. And the way it works is your back 2 fingers have a nice resting spot on that thicker portion or taller portion, and your front 2 up here. And just melts in the hand, feels really, really comfortable. Really good size knife as well. Right around 3 inches, probably right under 3 inches, something like that on the blade. And just a fabulous knife. So that's the Sharpshooter Jack. And I gotta figure out how to do this without... There we go. Next, in, I suppose it was May, came the laid-back Jack, or what I call the laid-back pickle Jack, or pickleback Jack. And that's because it comes in this beautiful jungle wear fat carbon. So on the slip, you have a beautiful green Pueblo. I don't know if it has a different name, but green Pueblo. And again, 7 cross stitches. You get the logo, yada, yada, from Troy. And this is a sway back pattern. So on this one, you do not have an end cap. You can see here, it does not have a end bolster, whatever you call it. I'm still not an expert, guys, but you have this beautiful jungle wear fat carbon. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of the full kind of solid fat carbons versus the sort of dark matter ones where you just get splotches, because sometimes you just don't get a lot of color, like on this side, and then on this one you just get a huge splotch. And I think some people prefer that because they just like carbon fiber and maybe a little pop of color. I like the full color, if that makes sense. But anyway, this is a sway back pattern, but it's a very muted sway back, which I think was smart by Ben not to go crazy on it, because it kept, you know, the modern knife guys still interested, I think. And I believe this is one of his more popular patterns. They all really are, but I think this was one of the ones that people really liked. And I am one of those people. Again, you have a full hollow grind up to the swedge here, up to the spine back here. Again, razor thin. And of course, you have this Warney blade, which just works beautifully for utility cutting. Very comfortable in the hand. Once again, this one's a little bit smaller, but not by much. And I think this might be the smallest one that released this year. You did have the Little Bro, which he pulled and is working on, so that one doesn't count. So I believe this is the smallest pattern. And again, just nice, crisp walk and talk. Now, the only drawback to this model, the reason it's not my favorite, is the tip is awfully close to coming out of the scale there, and I can almost catch, like right there, I caught it. So if you sharpen this once or twice, that tip might be coming out. I don't think it's a huge deal or anything, but depending on how you have your slip set up and how you put the knife in, you could kind of push your thumb in. So you just need to be careful with that. The way I kind of combat that is I use a Troy Northwoods Leatherworks slip, and I have it in like this. And the way I reach into my pocket, I pull it out, and then I remove the knife by grabbing like this. So instead of having a slip where I have to reach in, like, let me show you. Here's like a traditional kind of slip where you have these flaps. This one has a clip, but just bear with me. Normally you have it like this. You have to push back the flap and then grab from this side. So you might shove your thumb right into that blade. It's kind of hard to get back here and kind of grab it like this. So with the slip like this, you just grab it from the side. You have no risk of that. And it's not close enough here where you can kind of get your finger in there to get you. So anyway, that is the laid back Pickle Jack. Also a fantastic, they're all fantastic. So then came the Little Bro, which again got pulled for QC reasons, or you know, whatever you want to call it, before it got released. So it wasn't actually released to the public. So Ben saw something that he needed to change, and he is working on that now, and it will be released in 23. So in its place came the Midnight Jack. And this is, or has been, my favorite Jack Wolf knife the whole year. It really was. And we're going to see at the end here, I'm going to tell you which is my favorite. I'll tell you what is my favorite slip joint of the year. I do have an honorable mention or two. But this one I have a beautiful purple Pueblo leather. I believe it's Pueblo leather with this white stitching. Again, Troy absolutely crushing it. And here we have just a magnificent pattern. This is one that Ben kind of came up with in his brain, and he surprise released it. So basically this one wasn't listed as one that was coming, and then boom, it just popped up in June, I guess it was. I'm guessing here. It might have been July. No, it was July because of the, yeah. So this one I really love for a couple of reasons. One, I am an absolute sheep's foot whore. If you look at the Divo knives designed EDC Barley, it has a similar blade, and that got designed before I ever saw this. And it has a similar long pull with a sheep's foot blade. They're different, but similar. And I love that kind of blade shape. Just really speaks to me personally. Again, full hollow grind up to the swedge up here, but full hollow here. Thin as shit. Taller blade on this. And this one you have a taller bolster area with a triple flute. So when you have these lines like that and that, it's called a flute, or fluting, I guess. So this is a triple flute, triple fluted bolster. Really, really cool stuff. And this one has purple haze fat carbon. So up to this point, there was one fat carbon option and 3 micarta options. So you always had black micarta, natural, and green micarta, and then 1 fat carbon. And so these early ones, the fat carbons are really hard to get because there was only so many of that version that you could get. Now, I can't remember, but I think I got a micarta one to review, and then I bought this separately when they dropped. Same with this, I believe. And this one, I think he actually sent me the fat carbon one initially, but I can't remember. I did buy like 3 of these though in my Carta and all different stuff. So maybe not. I can't remember. I had 3 for a while. This one, I think I might have just had this one, or maybe I had in my Carta and then got one other one. I don't know. But just I've bought like 15 Jack Wolves probably at least. So I have no problem saying anything about the knife because I've put my money where my mouth is. But anyway, the Purple Haze, this is probably the most beautiful pattern and combination so far. There's one more that might rival it, but I just love the triple flute, the tall bolster. I don't know what else you'd call it. And the walk and talk on this is the snappiest of the bunch, I think. It just has a very stout spring. At least that's what it feels like to me. And I like that. The only downside to this one, personally, is when I go to close it, it's a very straight line here, right? And my hand kind of gets hit right here. And it's a little bit sharp. But, I mean, it just, you have to carry it for a second, and then you get used to how you're going to hold it so that you don't get hit by that. But absolutely fantastic. Very neutral, but ergonomic as hell. Good size knife. Just, yeah, all around, probably my favorite Jack Wolf. Then comes the Canine Jack. So in August, I believe, the Canine Jack came out. Here we just have a black leather. I don't know if it's Pueblo, probably, because he knows I love Pueblo. And red. So we got black and red. And I can't recall exactly. This slip may have been made for my Vampire Jack coming up in a second. And I might have switched them because they're both black and red. And I was kind of just figuring out the best combo that I liked. So I may have switched them. But either way, Northwood slip in black with red stitching. Let's see if I can fit that in screen and get the knife in there. That'll be nice. And this is the Canine Jack. So this one, when I first saw it, I was not interested. This was the one I probably thought was the fuggliest of the bunch. I don't like the dog leg. It's just goofy to me. I don't like a bulbous spear point. And it was just one of those where it was like, all right, I guess I'll get the one for review and I'll check it out and maybe I'll keep it just because I kind of have a collection going. I got this in hand. As soon as it went into my hand, I just went, oh, damn. It melts into your hand. Like the ergonomics of how this works and somehow just disappears into your hand is incredible in my opinion. You get enough of a penetrating tip. It's not my favorite because I do want more of a penetrator, and you'll see that on one of the later ones. But you still get that full hollow grind. It's just... this one's more of a workhorse to me. And then you get the same just crisp pops on walk and talk. And all you got to do is pick up a Jack Wolf, put it in your pocket for the day. And by the end of that day, if you haven't done this for hours, I don't know what's wrong with you. Dead centered. Just fabulous. This one has a flute here and a flute here. Has the end cap. And, yeah, this one has the dark matter red fat carbon. And then it also came with a, I believe, a black and a green micarta. Don't hold me to that. And then there was a twill carbon fiber. So this was the first model where Ben decided to incorporate a little bit more carbon fiber. He was looking at sales and looking at the market and everything, and he noticed that people were gobbling up the fat carbon, and you know, the micarta would sit a little bit longer. It's still sold, but the fat carbon was popular, right? So I think initially when he started the project, he thought he would really appeal to the Slipjoint crowd, right? But what happened was he ended up really appealing to the modern knife guy like me and converting them to slip joints because he's doing very modern things: titanium, carbon fiber, M390, belt satins, beautiful deep full hollow grind, stuff like that. Precision machining, all of that he's doing, but it's a traditional pattern and knife. And so I guess he just expected it would uplift the slip joint community or traditional community, but it really turned the modern knife guy into a slip joint guy. If you're watching this and you're one of the people like me who wasn't into slip joints and this kind of got you into it, please sound off, because I was not a slip joint guy at all. And I met him at Blade Show 2021, and it really just started to change the way I look at slip joints. And it's just kind of funny how that happened. But anyway, this one was the first one where he was able to, because, you know, you do runs and you pay ahead of time. He already had all this stuff booked. So he was able to kind of work on the fly and switch to having 2 carbon fibers, one twill and one dark matter red. So I got the dark matter red here, and fantastic. So that is the Canine Jack. Not one of my favorites of the Jack Wolves, but I love it. I love them all, but I'm just kind of listing what's, you know, where they rank sort of, and I can try to do a ranking at the end here. We'll see. So the next one that came out was the Benny's clip. Now this is again one of my least favorite of the group. Again, great knife, just one of my least favorite of the however many I have. Beautiful package here that I kind of was able to put together with Troy. You have this black Pueblo, I'm assuming. I guess they're different because this is like a cracked sorta, and this is a little bit different, so I don't know. And then you have this neon green stitching, which goes with this toxic camo carbon. So now we're introduced to camo carbon with the Jack Wolf lineup. So again, this is where Ben is on the fly, right? I think at this point, he probably already had a lot of this planned out, but he realized, I got to jump on this fat carbon thing. So he started, you know, getting more materials sent over there to work on these next batches. He was able to do the twill here and then jump into more carbon fibers. So this run of the Benny's clip had, I believe, 2 fat carbons. So you had, I believe, the black and the green micarta, or whichever combination of 2 micartas. And then you had a Arctic fat carbon. And then you had this toxic camo carbon, which is really fucking sexy. And the only thing I don't like about it is you can see this side is like a little more subdued than this side, right? It's just kind of interesting, but now I love it because it's my knife and all of that. So this is a Lanny's clip design. He called it the Benny's clip to give it a name. And it's the first one with that doesn't have a full hollow grind. So it doesn't go all the way up. It's still really thin, but just the way the knife pattern is, you just don't have a full hollow grind. You have this nice swedge up here, nail nick, all the good stuff. Fluted bolster, no end cap on this one. This one's probably my least favorite on Walk and Talk. It just doesn't have the same pop as some of the other ones. It's still fantastic, but it just doesn't have, you know, the same exact pop. And this one's just ever so slightly off to this side. I've just, you know, it's fine. I'm a very big nitpicker on that, but being left-handed, just not one of my favorites for a couple of reasons. It's harder to, you know, grab without having the full hollow and only having the nail nick over here. The size, it's a little bit bigger than I really want in a slip joint. A little bit thicker, kind of, you know, taller, whatever you want to call it. And then it has the crazy rhino's horn clip point blade. So just all those things aren't really my style, but still objectively a fantastic knife and a knife that I will carry occasionally. And the combination here just really set it up. So that was the Benny's clip. Then came October, and that's when we all knew what was coming. At least I knew what was coming. And this is the Vampire Jack. So again, this slip might have been, I don't know, I might have switched them. But you have a red Pueblo with black stitching on this one. Troy just kills it on these slips. If you ever need a slip or leather wallet or something, hit up Troy over at Northwoods. I'll link him down below. But here's a knife I did not think I would like at all and is one of my favorites, hands down, of the Jack Wolf knives. So this is the Vampire Jack. This one has not Mars Valley. This one has Lava Flow fat carbon. And this is where we're introduced to, I believe, 3 fat carbons and 1 micarta, or it could have been 2 micartas and 3 fat carbons. He bumped it up to 5 total models. Not positive on that at this point. I'm just trying to remember. But I think there might have been a green and a black micarta, and then you had this lava flow, and all this is off the top of my head, guys, so bear with me. You had this lava flow fat carbon, which I thought was perfect for a Vampire Jack in October, right? I mean, just think about that. Then you had a purple dark matter version of it that had, you know, it was like this, but with little bits of purple in it. And then you had one other fat carbon or camo carbon that God damn it. Oh, it was Pacific Blue. The other one was Pacific Blue camo carbon, which is kind of like dark matter, where it's not as aggressive with the coloring. Like kind of imagine this, but with blue, just less of it throughout. And that's what Pacific Blue looks like, camo carbon. But of course, I bought 2. I actually bought this one and a Pacific Blue one, and then I gave away the Pacific Blue. So I kept this one because it just makes the most sense to me with it being October and the Vampire Jack. And this knife just surprised the shit out of me in a couple ways. 1, the walk and talk is silly. It just has a really snappy spring. It literally just jumps. It has this coffin handle shape. So what that means is it kind of bulges out in the center here. Kind of looks like a coffin. You do have the end cap fluted bolsters. This one's interesting in the fact that the nail nick is right here and the blade is kind of low. So a lot of handle is in the, or a lot of blade is in the handle, and it makes it a little bit harder to open. Where a lot of these, you have a lot of blades sticking up you can grab, and the full hollow grind really helps. But having this minimal blade, you really do need to use this nail nick. Now, luckily, left-handed, I can just kind of drag my finger into the nail nick, pinch and pull, and I'm able to get it. And once I carry this for a minute, I'm able to get it easily every time. But it isn't as easy as the others, and it does make the spring feel stronger than all the other ones. But it honestly could just be that the spring is the strongest on the Vampire Jack. I'm not sure. And again, out of the box, I was like, no way. This is going to be so uncomfortable in the hand. It's going to suck. And I put this in my hand. You can watch all the unboxings of these. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, this is amazing how comfortable this is in my hand. And this has become one of my favorites. Just absolutely love the walk and talk. I love the thin blade. I love that spear point. This is the kind of spear point I like, where it's very pointy at the end, almost dagger-like. Super comfy in the hand. Good size knife. Just a great EDC. I've really enjoyed this. And it carries extremely well because of how thin everything is. It carries really well. So the Vampire Jack is wonderful. You can see here in the slip, it just disappears in your pocket. So that's the Vampire Jack. Let me actually try to put these kind of similarly. There we go. All right. So then last month we had the Cyborg Jack. So the last couple have been really fun for me. Going back to the Vampire. So, you know, I was like really excited. Oh my God, cream in the pants. And then I was like, like I love it, but, you know, not my favorite. And then it was like, I really like it. Great knife, but not my favorite pattern. And then, boom, you hit me with the Vampire, and then shabam, you hit me with the Cyborg Jack, and oh my God. This one you have pink Pueblo with black stitching, and the more I carry this and use it, it's just going to get like a more pink color, which is awesome. Just look at that. It's just beautiful. So you have that. Let's see if we can line these up. I know, my OCD is kicking in or whatever. And this is just a unique as hell pattern. So Ben basically designed this one like from scratch, right? Like most of the other ones here, he kind of had a existing traditional pattern. That's kind of how it works. And then he tweaked it and made it his own for Jack Wolf. This is kind of like out of his brain completely. And it's different. It doesn't look like a traditional. And I really like that about it. I mean, you can see this sort of cyberpunk stuff going on here. And this hot pink camo carbon just absolutely set it off for me personally. So I had to have the hot pink. Luckily, that's the one he sent me. So this one I did not actually buy another one. I was really tempted to buy the Toxic Green Fat Carbon one, or Toxic Storm, which looks almost as good. I don't know, maybe better, but luckily I haven't gone down that rabbit hole and got one. But I absolutely love this. It does have a clip point blade with the kind of rhino horn thing going on, but I don't know, it just never bothered me on this one, where it bothered me a little bit more on the Benny's clip. And this probably has the best walk and talk on any slip joint I have ever handled. I know it's one of the later ones that he designed, so he's getting better, right? And that's going to make a difference. But, I mean, look at this jump. Like, just so crisp, the way these pop. I mean, you see it, like, jump into half and then kind of jitter. It's just fantastic. Absolutely love it. Dead centered on this one, and that pink, I mean, it's just amazing. Now, it's not the most comfortable one in the hand, but it's ultra comfortable. So it's not like it's not comfortable. It's just, it might not be as good as the Canine or the Vampire, or the Sharpshooter, but it's right there. Super comfortable, and the acoustics are just out of this world. Fantastic. So I absolutely love the Cyborg Jack. And this one came in pink camo carbon, toxic green, or toxic, like the yellow and green fat carbon. And then orange dark matter fat carbon. So like this, but orange, which I thought made a lot of sense for Cyborg Jack, kind of like Terminator, having that little bit of orange, like the eyeball of the Terminator. And one thing I can't get out of my mind is how this kind of looks like the lady lamp from Christmas Story. And now you can't unsee that, so you're welcome. But absolutely love it. The one thing I don't love about this model is just how it sticks out of the slip, because it has this kind of pointy end. But that's the only thing I can think of. And honestly, at this point, I'm so used to it, I freaking love it. So the Cyborg Jack came in absolutely hot last month. And then the Venom Jack. This came out in December. This wraps up 2022 for Jack Wolf knives. Absolutely just amazing release this year. And this, I think, is my favorite of the bunch. So the Midnight held that status for 6 months, basically, right? It came out whenever it was, July. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 releases. That one remained my favorite out of the whole group. But then entered the Venmo Jack. I call it the Venmo Jack. It's the Venom Jack. And this right here is a orange Butera. I think it's called Butera leather. And it has this different, you can see it has a little bit of a different sheen to it, a little bit of a different look than the Pueblo. And it's just a little bit thicker, but not too thick. And man, do I love this stuff. Very tight fit. I mean, it's just, oh yeah, I love that feeling on a slip. I don't want it to be loosey and I just don't like that feel. That's why I don't like the flaps and everything. But I carry these without other stuff in my pocket. So anyway, yes, the Venom Jack came on the scene, and this is my favorite. Could it be recency bias? Maybe. I don't think so. It has a lot of the hallmarks of the Canine in terms of design pattern and how the blade sticks out and that kind of stuff. But then it has a fang for a blade, which is why it's called the Venom, because it kind of looks like a snake tooth or whatever. And then he kind of made it a throwback to Conan the Barbarian. So he had Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff going on the last couple here. And this Mars Valley Fat Carbon just really stuck out to me. So much so, apparently, that I bought 2 of them. I bought 2 of them. I did sell one already, so don't worry. Not a big deal. But absolutely just stunning piece right here. This one has the flutes on both bolsters and on the end cap. I didn't mention this one doesn't have any fluting because it's very unique. But look at the transitions of the carbon fiber on this one. They stand out so much more how clean that is. I mean, that's insane level of work there, where on most of them with the flutes, it's harder to tell how good that transition is. This one melts into my hand so well. It's just such a good ergonomic knife. And it has a blade shape I absolutely just love to use. Having a tip like that is absolutely perfect. And then you have this super tall, full hollow grind. It's just a beast. And then the walk and talk is fantastic. Look at that. Jump, jump. Easy to grab because you have a lot of blade sticking out. Not too much, just you have a lot, right? On this one, you don't have to worry about the tip at all like you do on the laid back because it's kind of buried down in there. Doesn't have the wraparound backspacer, but there you go. Or I should say spring. Just a wonderful piece, and it is my favorite Jack Wolf. I was so ready all year to crown the Midnight Jack, and it's close. It really is. But the Venom came in last minute and crushed it. So I will rank these in a second. The honorable mention for Slipjoint of the Year is the traditionalpocketknives.com exclusive Hedgehog. This is a QSP knife, and this is an exclusive to traditionalpocketknives.com. I'll put my affiliate link down below if you're interested, but this is $145. So if I didn't mention, all of these are $300. This is $145. You get M390 steel titanium scales, or whatever you call them on slip joints. Absolutely comfortable as hell. It's about 0.4 inches on thickness. You have these flutes right here and this jigged titanium. A little bit of contouring. Just absolutely wonderful in the hand. If you're looking to get into the slip joint game and you just want to kind of test the waters and not spend a fortune or whatever, this is a really good place to start. $145. There's also regular versions of this on traditionalpocketknives.com. The Hedgehog with like micarta and 14C, and those are less than $100. So definitely a good way to get into slip joints. You have a long pull, and you have this beautiful sheep's clip, whatever you want to call it. And the walk and talk is phenomenal. It's not Jack Wolf good, but it is really good. And you have a stop pin, so you can't over travel it. Just a wonderful knife. I really love this. Can't wait for my slip. It's in the mail from Troy. And definitely an honorable mention. This would probably beat a few of the Jack Wolfs in rankings if I ranked all the slip joints. You know, this would, for me personally, be ahead of the Canine, the laid back, the Benny's clip, the Sharpshooter. I think that's it. It would be ahead of those 4. But that says a lot to me personally, because Jack Wolf is kind of the I don't know whatever, the cream of the crop. It's the thing that you judge everything by when it comes to slip joints. So I just wanted to give this a shout out. Check it out, traditionalpocketknives.com, link down below, and you can check these out. But it's really cool. So that's that. And let's rank these real quick. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 8. Is that 8? I have 8? 2, 4, 6, 8. Why did I think there was more this year? That's weird. Well, the little bro would have made 9, but I still feel like I'm missing one. But that's okay. I'm not. So I would say this is going to be really hard. Let's get all of these out of the way, and then we can just rank the knives. And guys, the slip game has become just another hobby for me. I absolutely love the slips, and now I'm getting into like sheaths and stuff or fixed blades. It's just crazy how you just get into stuff. But all right, let's do this. So obviously I have the fat carbon of all of them. Oh, and I didn't mention this came in this Mars, because I got them all right. I got to get this one right. Mars Valley fat carbon. It came in a Timascus camo carbon, which is like purple and blue. Really cool stuff. Then it came in a dark matter gold, which looked fantastic. And then it had micarta, which was, I don't know, green or natural, something like that. But they're still available, I believe. Some of these might be available still. So check out the dealer list down below if you are interested in any of these. You can go down the list and just check and see what's available. So let's rank them. Okay. So I know this is number 1. I might have to do it backwards. Normally I would rank them like, 10, 9, 8, but I think it's going to help me to do it this way. 1, 2, 3. This first 4 is easy. 4. Okay, so we got 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. All right, there we go. I got them ranked for you. Jack Wolf Knives 2022 knife lineup, roundup, whatever you want to call it, and rankings. You have, I'll open and close them all, and then we'll close this out. You have the Venom Jack in Mars Valley, fat carbon, beautiful Warney blade, epic walk and talk. You have the Midnight Jack, which comes in purple haze, fat carbon, beautiful sheep's foot blade. Stupid walk and talk on that one. Then you have the Cyborg Jack in this beautiful pink camo carbon, clip point blade. Acoustics are insane. Walk and talk crazy on that one. Then you have the Vampire Jack in Mars Valley, fat carbon, spear point blade, epic ergonomics. This one, so if you want to do some like Jack Wolf categories, best ergonomics on a Jack Wolf, Vampire Jack. Vampire Jack wins ergonomics. Best walk and talk goes to Cyborg Jack. Best acoustics goes to Cyborg Jack. Best spring, I feel like. That's a weird category, isn't it? Kind of the same thing as walk and talk, but I would give that to the Midnight. I don't know why. Best aesthetic, I think, goes to the Midnight as well, but the Cyborg's right there. That thing really grew on me. Yeah. Best blade, Venom. Best overall, Venom. All right. Then you have the Sharpshooter in Dark Matter Blue, the one that started it all, baby. Fantastic walk and talk, great ergonomics, great size, wonderful first release. Canine Jack in Dark Matter Red. Again, just wonderful all around. Good walk and talk. Not as bouncy on the spring, but still fantastic. Nice bulbous spear point. Definitely sweet knife, sweet ergonomics. You have the laid back Pickle Jack in that Warney blade. Slight sway, beautiful jungle wear, fat carbon, beautiful walk and talk. And the Benny's clip, Lanny's clip design, toxic camo carbon. First one and only one without a full hollow. Beautiful clip point rhinos clip or horn blade, just not my style. And a little bit of a bigger knife. This would be the one I would tell you if you're like trying to find a work knife or you have bigger hands or something. This one does not have as good a walk and talk as the others, though. It's just a little more, I don't know how to explain it. Just feels a little softer, I guess. But it's still fantastic. So there you go. That's the rundown. Pop them all back in, and then we can roll out. So if you guys have any questions about the Jack Wolf knives, let me know. I'm not an expert in slip joints or anything, but I've had a fair share of these at this point, and yeah, I'm just loving it. I just literally can't wait for the next release every time. Like it's pretty crazy that's how it is. I get that excited after 8 of these. I'm still getting really excited about what's coming next. That should tell you everything, right? But anyway, I think that's enough. You guys are probably sick of this. And yeah. There's your slip joint knives of the year, whatever you want to call it. Jack Wolf knives took over this year. And then you have that QSP Hedgehog. And then a couple of honorable mentions real quick. The traditionalpocketknives.com Ohio River Jack was a fantastic knife. I really enjoyed it. It just was a little tall for me, or thick. I don't know which combination, the weight with that. This does it for me way better than that did. So I moved on from that one, but I totally understand why some people would love that one. I did have a James brand Wayland in for a little bit, and that was surprisingly good, to be honest. And then if you're looking in the budget category, trying to just pick something up, I did try the what was that one I tried? The Smoky Mountain Knife Works, the Rough Rider Apta series, and that had really good walk and talk for a knife that was like $30 or something. So if you just want to get into something, it did not have the fit and finish you're looking at here, but $30. And then Rosecraft has a couple that I handled. One, the Holston River, I think it is. It was really well made. It felt like a much more expensive knife, but it had D2, and it just was hard for me to get the nail neck and everything. But those are some options for you. So anyway, there you go. Thank you guys for checking it out. Let me know what you think. I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.